What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we got another Monday Ramble. Had a great weekend. Had a great week last week. Birthday week. 34 years old, man. Holy buckets. Do I feel 34? Sometimes. Sometimes I feel older. Just kidding. But that's years of sports and stuff for you. Sports and things wreck your knees. Anything can wreck your knees. Anything you do for a prolonged period of time, it can wreck you, especially like you're hunched over at a desk all day, gonna have back problems. You're gonna have something like that. Not always, not all people, but high likely, the likelihood of it being that, pretty high, right? If you're doing it repetitively every day, um, chances are something is going to happen to you. Um, Now, if you go around doing different things, maybe you got different stuff. Maybe you do all the preventative maintenance to prevent those types of injuries from happening. Maybe you do them and it still happens, right? Um, Sometimes, no matter what you do, it might still happen, right? The only thing is probably getting a different job that requires you to do other things, I'm guessing. But if you like your job sometimes, or if you like your job and you worked hard to get to where you're at, and you don't think somewhere else is going to um, pay you for that, because you got to start all over. You got to relearn things, and things like that. Um, it'll be a challenge, or it'll be hard to convince yourself that you can go somewhere else and learn, right, and pick up fast and stuff like that. Maybe you got to learn how to sell it before you do that kind of things. There's many different variables to it, and it's not. I'm not saying that. Oh, you gotta just make it easy, because it's never gonna be easy, right? And so it's hard to have confidence in yourself, and sometimes you overthink it and you say that oh, it's literally just here, but sometimes it's not. Those aren't the traits that people are looking for when you're going to a new place, right? Especially if you're gonna jump up into like a different like a middle management tier thing. They're looking for your experience with dealing with situations and stuff like that. And if you're a fast learner and stuff like that, you're going to learn the job anyways, right? You're going to pick up on it. But how do you deal with hassle? How do you deal with hardship? How do you motivate people? Things like that, right? And how do you do those things? That's maybe a different way of looking at it. Sometimes maybe you're just looking at it in a different light than one that's more beneficial for you to create a little bit more confidence, right? I know I go through confidence stuff all the time, right? It's hard to believe in yourself. Sometimes you feel down on yourself and things like that, but usually, since I've been going to work anyways and have had to do interviews, I usually I get nervous. I think about it like negatively before I go to like interviews, but I also try not to think about it as much as possible until I'm there. Then, a lot of times like the confidence comes, especially if you're stoked about the new job, especially if you're looking forward to some of the things that they're doing, right? If you don't know anything about it, then you're quiet and you're just taking in the scenery. You're just trying to figure out what is that? What, holy cow, that's different. I don't even know how to ask a question to that. And you see it all the time with like people that you have to interview at a job that but you're like, oh, this is an intimidating place, especially if it's like a manufacturing place. And because you have different lingo, you have different things that you say, and it's going to be different. You don't know, they might not know how to ask it unless if they worked previously in a place that worked with a lot of those type of stuff. Anything that you're working on specifically and things like that. If they did not, then a lot of times they're being quiet, and it's not because of anything in particular. They're just taking it in. It's a lot to take in, right? And you're talking about who's it goes to the Duke Mahukit or whatever, and who's a fits it, and they don't know what you're talking about. You might stop and they might chit chat with an older person, and Be like, hey, these are one of like the people hard workers that we have on this shift, or this is our team lead. This is a manufacturing tech or something, or process tech or something like that, something of that nature. And they're like, I don't even know what any of those things mean. Is that high up? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, I guess the moral of this thing is everybody, you got to be mindful of like newer people. They come out on the floor, they don't know what's going on, they're learning, they're not worried about what anything means at the moment. They're just worried about, am I going to perform my job correctly, and things like that. Maybe they sold it and they're like, oh, now I'm in this debacle, no, I have to learn. And they're in that situation where you would be in too. Like, I guess I've never directly went into like a supervisory position without becoming a worker first. So, like, that's not my experience, but I know people that have. Doesn't mean I know anything about it. I'd have to ask them, specifically of how they dealt with those things, right, and how they overcame it, or what things they do to prep those things. It'd be a fascinating side of a story to get, and a point of view that I haven't experienced at least, but maybe some others have, maybe not. If you haven't, I'm sure people will be interested in listening to that kind of stuff too. So, but you never know. Maybe one day that's a situation I'll find myself in. But for now, at least, been doing great. You know what I mean? So, working our butts off to get things done, and people come together to work hard and get things done. Man, it's not easy. It's not easy to be in those situations, but people step up to the plate and they do their best, and you know they like to be told that sometimes, and they like to be, you know, they like to work hard, man. They just like to get it. There's people that just get it in this world, and there's just some people that don't move as fast, right? They don't understand, I guess, that sometimes the harder working one, they're getting those people, they get higher standards or standings within a place because of how hard they work, not because of how long they've been there. Or they know that, but you know they're not exactly fast at it, or they get at least quite a bit of rework every time they do it, or it's like, it's really slow. The people that get it, they work hard, they prove out like times on things, they might even improve it. They might have great ideas that go with that the place can implement and save money overall. Or maybe they're able to show people and correlate that, hey, this is just, we're in a time crunch, right? We're trying to meet these certain standards. Don't let us down. And sometimes, there's just people that chill back, chill as cucumber, but they get stuff done too. There's a bunch of different people. I've had a friend where, he was like that. He was chill, but man, could that do work, man? He was always constantly just working. You know what I mean? He might not have been the fastest, but man, he made it look easy. So it's those little things that make working anywhere freaking awesome, right? It makes it awesome was when people come together, different types of different people that have different specialties and different things, and they come together and they're great at it. And we thrive on that kind of stuff. We thrive on our when we come together as a team and get things done and just do our best. Sometimes you're going to come up short, sometimes you're going to make it, right? It's not about how hard you fall, it's about how you get up and pick up and do better the next time. So, but anyways, I hope everybody has a great one. This has been another Monday Ramble, a little longer than I expected, but thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see you guys again. Until next time, peace.